Hey, what's going on, everybody? I got my son Nolan here help me today. Say hey.
Hi.
And we got a little story he's going to help me play out here. I didn't know this till the other day, but January 6th is actually Sherlock Holmes's birthday. And in honor of that, got a little trick. And in researching the trick, I actually found out that there's a little story where Sherlock Holmes invented some fingerprinting. And in the story, he actually used some playing cards for it. So I figured I'd go ahead and tell you all about it. So he had a typical Sherlock Holmes mystery. There had been some murders around, and with some different weapons he analyzed and came up with an idea of fingerprints specific to people's hands. And you know, it was a little scientific for back in the day because the people weren't as smart as they, you know, are nowadays, I guess, as you say that. But he was trying to think of a way to come up to how to explain to people that how fingerprinting worked. So he was sitting there thinking about it, and Watson was over in the corner playing with some cards, and he said, quit practicing with your cards. I can't think. And then it popped into his head. He said, Watson, can your practice spare a few days? He said, because the game is afoot and your assistance would prove invaluable. And he said, of course. And they left and went off to the murder trial to explain fingerprinting. So when he walked into the murder trial, he was completely blindfolded. And he walked in front of everybody with no use of his sight and sat down and explained to everybody about the scientific side of fingerprinting. And of course, they didn't understand it. So he said, well, I have a little experiment to share with y'all here. And he shuffled up a deck of cards and he explained to them that he is the only one that has touched these cards ever, and that his fingerprints are the only ones on here. So he's gonna get the suspect to go ahead and step up here and go ahead and say stop whenever.
And stop.
Right there.
Yep.
And then go ahead and get the murder suspect to push his finger on the card there. All right. Now you can see his fingerprint is clearly right here on the card there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hide this somewhere in here. And then Nolan, go ahead and give the deck a cut there.
Okay.
Did you do it?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna place those back in there, and then go ahead and place your cut back on top. And then you can go ahead and give it like 2 more cuts here. So he had the card completely replaced in the deck, lost. And he said, there's no way I could have known. I never had these off as I've walked in here. And he removed his blindfold and took out his trusty magnifying glass. And he said, I will now identify this suspect's fingerprints on just his one specific card in here. And he spread the cards apart and he analyzed them right there in front of everybody. And he said, no. Nope, that's not it. No. And then he stopped and he said, wait a minute. I've seen something right here. And that is our suspect's fingerprints, is it not? You, sir, are guilty. You are going to jail. And he forever changed criminal justice with fingerprints from here on out. So thank goodness for Mr. Sherlock Holmes and his assistant, Mr. Watson, for their little card trick there. So how'd you like it?
Good.
Thanks for your help.
Yeah.